Hello, everyone. I am Mattthew Thomas, and people should be familiar with my guest at this time. He is the lead vocalist of Praise the Fallen, lead vocalist of Arson Radio, has his own solo material as a friend of Super Cool Radio and myself, Jammie Bosstel.
What's up, everybody?
And a little bit of background about this interview. So we actually did an interview the day before, but didn't work out. So I'm actually currently in Jammie Bosstel's house doing this really cool interview. Thank you for having me over.
No problem, man.
And I know our last interview we actually touched about Praise the Fallen a little bit, but I want to do a little bit deeper dive into that. How did the current lineup come together, and how was the name Praise the Fallen chosen?
Well, I won't go as long as I did.
That's fine.
Basically, we found Kenneth Jones, drummer. We found him on Band Mix. We did it right this time. We actually had auditions rather than just grabbing people and throwing them in the mix. Andy, I discovered at an open jam. I saw him play. He was playing on stage by himself. Actually, he played with KJ Hammerstein on drums. He was just jamming open jam, and I saw some star quality in Andy. I knew he was a good player, and he played like he was in front of 10,000 people at this open jam, and we're like in front of 10 people. And he just killed it, and I was like, I want that guy in my band. So I asked him. I met him for a beer and talked to him. Told him what I needed, and he said he was down, and everything's been great. We get along really good. Everybody gets along really good, and the music it's a lot easier to make music when you get along with everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of music, I remember last time we talked, you were working on releasing some new music for Praise the Fallen. Any updates on that?
We just talked actually last night. I asked the guys when they want to go to the studio actually after I talked to you, and they said probably July. We've got one date in July, a possible date, depending on this COVID thing.
Yeah.
If the date's canceled or whatever, we're probably going to take the whole month of July and we're going to record 3 songs. We're already putting out an EP. It possibly will be here by Saturday. I'm hoping. I don't know. Kenny ordered it. We got 300 copies coming, and we were just informed by Larry that I guess we're allowed to sell merch, so we're going to bring it probably if we have any.
I'm looking forward to
5-song EP, Emotions in Gear, Falling, Carpe Diem, Perfect, and Hollywood are all on that.
Yeah, and I think like a month or so ago, you sent me over that EP, and it's some good stuff, man.
Thanks, man.
I really did. Hollywood, I like it because it's kind of almost like a pop rock throwback almost.
Yeah, a lot of bands are doing metal and stuff, and we got some surprises. We got some stuff we're coming out with. Andy's a shredder, and he wanted to shred on some stuff, and he's got some stuff written where I'm not going to play guitar and I'm just going to sing on it, and we're going to bring out the metal and Praise the Fallen, so probably on the newer stuff.
Right on.
Anything I write is a little more simpler because I sing and play at the same time. I'm not a shredder.
Yeah.
I use the guitar as a tool to write songs. I'm not even really that great of a guitar player. I just do what I do. I love what I do.
Yeah, and so where do you guys record for the Praise the Fallen? Is there a studio to go to? Is it
We went to the same studio that Fifth and Sick went to, called the Nook, out there, and it's in Illinois. I can't remember the name of the town. But actually, I had heard about the Nook in 2013. I heard about this place, and I wanted to go there in 2016 when I had my lineup then, but we chose to go to Tim Bushong in North Webster.
Okay.
He's very, I don't know if you know who that is, he's a very highly respected engineer and producer. And I'd like to actually do maybe some of the newer Praise the Fallen stuff there again. I love Tim. He's a great guy. We love Nick too. Nick's awesome to work with. Nick actually mixed and mastered my single for my solo stuff, the Sick of This song that I just had done.
Yeah, that's a killer single.
Thanks, man.
Just the whole mixing is very well done.
Yeah, I did it right here. I showed you the studio.
Yep.
It's like a bedroom studio, and then I just sent it to Nick, and he beefs it up. So
Yeah, definitely killer. Actually, I want to go back to this real quick because I remember from our interview yesterday, it was a very interesting answer. So the name Praise the Fallen, you didn't actually come up with that name.
I didn't come up with the name, no. I mean, I have no problem. I'm not like against telling anybody that when I started this band, I started with just a drummer. It was a friend of mine, and he came up with the name. But I came up with the meaning behind the name. You know, a lot of people thought, well, it must be about the military. It's not about the military or anything. It's about pretty much praising those that are weak rather than kicking them when they're down. You know, we need to do that more. You know?
For sure, especially right now.
Yep. You know, so it fits. You know, we want to. You know, after what I've been through a lot myself, and I still choose to not go the dark path, and I choose to turn the ugliness into positivity and inspire people. You know, that's what I choose to do with my energy. So
Yeah, and your music, you know, from all the music you cover and or you're with, that it's a nice positive boost, especially especially for 2020. That's been more on the darker side. It's nice to hear some more positive and uplifting.
yeah, I had done dark music, man. I did the metal stuff. I did all this stuff. A lot of the stuff that I'm hearing bands come out with now, the younger bands and stuff, they're angry, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I was angry too at one time. I had my reasons, but then I had certain situations show me that my life wasn't so bad, and I chose to turn things around, turn my music around. There's a lot more negative people in the world than there are positive people. I learned that, though. And I felt when I was doing the darker stuff, I don't know, man, something hit me after these situations. I had a friend that was murdered. My ex-girlfriend had died of breast cancer. We were still friends.
Yeah.
And I just had some bad situations that all happened actually all in 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah, the same, all like within a 6-month span. Had a friend of mine in a car accident. My father died. I never got to know him. I had a bunch of situations happen where I just realized, you know, my life ain't so bad, man. I was like, you know, here I am standing up here preaching this darkness and anger, and I was like, man, I really don't feel this way. I really don't feel that mad anymore. I don't know. You can only climb that mountain so long, fueled by that. Eventually you run out of energy, you know. I'm not saying I can't write a pissed off song now, you know, I can, but, you know, it was my forte. I did it for a long time, you know, and I just said, no, I don't want to do this. I still want to rock. I want to write some energetic stuff that's positive and inspiring, and I think I've done that with most of the Praise the Fallen stuff.
Yeah, at least, you know, the music I've heard, and especially I think with your new stuff coming out, I think it's definitely positive, and it's not dark, even though like you could take that turn, but you didn't, or you turned away from that. There we go, turned away from that.
There are 3 Praise the Fallen albums out there. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know. I don't actually.
We have 3 albums out there streaming. We have the album. This band first got together. It was a drummer, guitar player, and me, and a guy discovered me at the Phoenix, just playing open mic, acoustic, playing these songs that I wanted to do. I was in the band Signal at the time. I don't know if you ever heard of us.
I don't know.
Your friend that you work with, he knew Signal.
Okay.
But Signal was sponsored by Jägermeister. I opened for Stain and 3 Days Grace with that band. I did some great things. We were almost signed. We had some things fall apart. We just grew apart, man. Things changed. People changed. Situations happen. Whatever, you know. And what happened with John Sturr from Lillian Axe, he was in Lillian Axe at one time. He discovered me at Open Jam, and he liked the songs I was writing, and he wanted to help me. I actually asked him, I go, do you want to just help me in the studio record these songs? I just really want to put them out and hear what they're going to sound like. And he was like, fuck that. He goes, we're going to do a record. And I was like, okay. You know, I knew at the time it was probably going to upset my band that I was in, but I wasn't out to do that. I was going a different direction. I was writing more commercial, more pop rock stuff at the time. I mean, I was, like I said, I was doing all that dark metal stuff in Signal, but then there was the other side of me. I was writing about 15 songs a week.
Wow.
You know, sitting around. It was when the economy crashed, and I was writing these songs, and John discovered me at Open Jam, and he was like, and I just played acoustic guitar with a drummer at the Phoenix open mic one night, and this dude walks in, you know, looked like, you know, he was older. He had long blonde hair. You know, my drummer's jaw dropped. He's like, you know who that is? I was like, no, dude, just, you know, another guy come up to me in open jam saying, I can help you out, you know. Okay, I got a studio in my basement. You want to see it, you know? But no, it was John Sturr from Lillian X, who was actually signed to MCA Records, late 80s. They were on MTV, Headbangers Ball, all that. He actually lived with me for a while. And we did, man, I'll never forget it. It was, the reason why I bring it up, I want people to know, you know, I'm very, very appreciative that he came along in my life, because I wouldn't have the confidence to do what I'm doing now if I wouldn't have met him. You know, I was very, I don't know how to, I was insecure about my guitar playing and that. I never thought I was good enough. My songs were, you know, I had several bands, you know, well, one band, Dead on Sunday, those guys did the music I wrote and stuff. But a lot of bands after that kind of just pushed my songs off. Where it's like, yeah, it wasn't that they didn't think they were good. It was just like, we're focused on this, you know. It's like, so yeah. I had all this material that I wrote through the years piling up. And of course, I'm in my head, I'm like, what if, man? What if one of those songs out of the 50 I got is the hit that could change my life, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to take the chance. And I was, when John came along, he was like, I want to make a record with you. We spent, man, 8 weeks in a little ass, I don't know if you know the houses here in South Bend, like over on Portage Avenue.
Yep.
You know how small those bedrooms are?
Yeah.
We had a full band practicing. And we practiced for like 3 weeks every day for like 4 hours every day to work on the first record that Praise the Fallen put out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was the drummer, me. Actually, I want to give credit to a guy named Matt Waterman out there. They call him Matt Black. He's Matt Black on Facebook. Matt Waterman actually played bass for us. We had a few bass players. Matt played with us. Billy Ziegler played bass for us. We went through some bass players. Bass players, man. I don't know. Steven, though, in Praise the Fallen has stood by my side. I give him that, you know. But bass players, man, you know. And I love my boy Sean Little. Sean Little played with us, too. He plays in a cover band called The Roosters. Sean actually moved to Milwaukee at the time, and that's how Steven became the bass player for us. But I'm going all over the place, man.
No, you're good. Now, there's something big I do want to talk about. Praise the Fallen, you guys will perform this Saturday at the Smokestack Brew for Rock The Pantry. How does it feel to be back performing on stage? It's their first show back.
I'm stoked, man. It's where I belong, you know. I've felt naked for the last 3 months. It's just not right, man.
It's been rough, man. I mean, it has been concerts. You can't get a haircut. You can't go out. And
that's why I just dove into recording. Because I was like, I'm gonna be creative one way or another.
Yeah.
I am a performer. I've been a performer since I was 8 years old. Well, actually, I should say, middle school. Because it all started with, you know, and some people don't think about this. Some musicians out there that were in band or whatever, you don't think about this, but you started performing and traveling then. So you're used to that. And that's why I'm so regimented about rehearsal, too. Is because we were marching band all summer. You're rehearsing, you know, to get your show together, you know. It's no different than being in a rock band. You do the same thing, you know. But no, man, you know, it's a big part of me. And I have realized, I mean, I had told you that I didn't see my guys for a while, you know, and we got so used to being with each other every week. I mean, this band's been together this lineup's been together almost 2 years, you know, and we're used to seeing each other every week. Suddenly the whole world stopped, you know, and it was like, man, I miss my people, you know, I miss my boys, you know, and, but yeah, I mean, I'm stoked about playing, and we're going to kill it.
It's something to look forward to this Saturday for Rock the Pantry at Smokestack Brew. You guys take stage 5 p.m. And so, like, since this is your first show back, how has it been practicing in quarantine since you guys, you know, as you said, haven't been able to physically meet together?
Going great. Like I said, I did a lot of writing. I always write. all I do is music, man. Some people have hobbies. They do fishing. They do all these other things. All I do is music. That's it. That's all I do. If I'm reading something, it's about music. If I'm studying something, it's about music, or the music business. Or I'm always reaching out, talking to people in the industry, and people in bands. I'm always trying to be. I just want to be remembered as a people person. I want people, when I pass on, people go, man, that dude reached out to people across the country. I mean, I do. I talk to everybody all over. And that's what kept me going. You know, some people, you know, I actually watched a video today. Well, I didn't watch a video. I listened to, I told you about Sully. Godsmack has that thing. Did you watch it?
I haven't yet.
He just did one with Aaron Lewis that was awesome. You know, but what's cool about that, there was a lot of national artists just being, you got to see just the regular side of them, you know, through this. I mean, some of them are complaining, going, man, I missed the stage. I'm like, dude, I'd love to be playing as many shows as you are. I really would. I want that to be my life, you know. My goal, I ain't gonna lie, no puns about it, man. My goal has always been to be a national artist. You know, I had a band called Blind Spot in Chicago where I would go to any length to find the right musicians to make a national band. Something professional, something that you can put on stage and be proud of, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And I did that. I drove to Chicago for 3 years for Blind Spot from here. Every weekend after working in a trailer factory all day.
Yeah, that's definitely dedication to what you want to do. Actually, I heard a Blind Spot.
Or I'm just nuts.
Well, I mean, it could go both ways.
I had good times in Chicago. I learned a lot out there. I learned, you know, what pro was. I learned what pro wasn't too. You know, I've learned a lot through the years, as far as like the industry and people, and you know, I've met a lot of good people. I've met a lot of bad people.
Yeah, and that's just...
I know I'm off the subject, but yeah.
No,
man,
you're good.
I'm just talking to you. I feel like the questions, it's cool, you know, but I think it's cool to let people know me too.
Oh no, for sure.
But as far as playing at the Smokestack, I think it's cool that Smokestack is going to have nationals, because we had Club Fever. I don't know if you were around when Club Fever was here.
I was a little bit younger, but I heard about it, but I was never able. I was not old enough to go.
Well, kind of what happened. Club Fever, man, they had a lot of nationals. You know, it's close to my heart because I opened for probably 15 nationals at Club Fever myself, you know, and I had the in there, and it was awesome, you know, opened for many nationals there. But it seemed like after Club Fever closed, there was
where do you go?
No nationals coming except for the Growl.
Yeah,
you know?
or the Morris, but yeah.
You know, but yeah, dude, the Morris.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like local bands trying to get on a national show,
yeah,
I'd love to get in the Morris. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but it's not.
You know, it's kind of hard though.
Yeah, you gotta know somebody.
And it's expensive for tickets to see any band at the Morris. You know,
yeah.
I think what Kevin James is doing at Smokestack is smart. He's making it affordable, and I think it's what I really think is awesome. And I hope people are listening out there. And I had this idea a while ago: original bands opening for cover bands.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening on Saturday.
Well, I was around in the '90s. When original bands played covers too, so you know,
not many. You know,
I was in bands where we played originals and covers. You know,
yeah,
and I don't understand the segregation. You know, it's all music. Yes, there is some music that you can't dance to. Some of that, you know. No offense to the metal guys out there, the death metal and stuff like that. I like that stuff too, but that's for fighting.
Yeah, mosh pit.
It's for drinking and fighting and moshing. You know, it's not for dancing. You know, people are bringing their lady out and stuff. They don't want to, you know. But there are some bands out there that write some good music that you can actually dance to. We actually have some songs you can dance to. We actually have, like I said, we've got that. That was when I got the idea to do the pop stuff, you know, the pop element, not pop like Bruno Mars or anything, but, you know, more like the Foo Fighters or stuff like that.
Yeah, the more pop rock side.
To show a versatile side. And what's great about Andy, our guitar player, he's not closed-minded to that. He's not like, no, I'm just a metal guitar player. I just want to shred. You know, he's very open-minded. That dude is great. You know, I love it if you interviewed him too. It'd be awesome.
Hey, I'm open to interview anybody. You know, just like I'm the host for Saturday.
You should interview the whole band.
Yeah,
actually.
Let's set that up sometime. I'm the host for Saturday, so I'm either gonna nail it or I'm gonna blow it. So make sure to show up
right here. You just show up at a reversal.
All right,
we practice on Wednesdays here in my house downstairs.
Yeah, no, I'm totally for that, man.
Yeah. We should do it.
It'd be nice to meet the whole band. I'm going to see them Saturday, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, we can set it up Saturday and let people know or whatever. But I know we got off the subject. But
hey, it's an open interview,
We're hungry, man. We're looking forward to the stage. We don't have a lot of shows this summer because COVID kind of, stabbed us, I actually hit up Anthony over at for the Hobart Art Theater today, and he's looking to get us rescheduled there. Like I said, we might have Custer Fair July 25th in Illinois. I actually had the Back Bar in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Yep, Wisconsin, yeah.
Hit me up and asked me. I sent them an email like 3 months ago. I sent them Hollywood. I sent them a professional email. Wanting to get in the venue. It was right before COVID. And the dude hit me up. He goes, once this shit's over, you guys sound great. I want to get you guys in here. So PTF's going to be traveling here again soon, and I am stoked.
Yeah, I've actually heard of the Back Bar. A lot of I've heard of bands playing at the Back Bar. I know if you know LC Binks, they did a live they did a live song from the Back Bar. I
just did a song with guitar player from LC Binks and Brian Knickerbocker. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
Diecast Romance, I guess is his project. He had me. They wrote a little punk song, and he sent me the music, and I wrote vocals, and I did it right there in that room.
Nice.
And I sent it to him, and he's getting it professionally done, and he says he's gonna push it to a couple radio stations in Grand Rapids. I guess so. I'll help out anybody who's professional and who's kind.
Yeah, and. Yeah, I mean, there's no point in trying to help someone out who's just a jerk. So
I've worked with assholes. Trust me, I won't name them.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
And I actually want to talk about it was a really cool collaboration you had for Arson Radio. It was you and Jamie Dyer.
Yeah.
What's kind of the future plans for Arson Radio?
We had a band. Jamie and I had a band in 2011, and man, the band was awesome. But we had the same problem. We couldn't keep a bass player, and we couldn't keep a drummer. We kept running into that. We finally had a drummer, and I don't know. It was also a very rough time. We put that band together in 2011, and it was just the beginning of the economy. The economy actually crashed in 2008, but we still felt the repercussions.
Many years, yeah.
2011 was a rough year for me personally. I lost my home, lost my car. I was living in my mom's basement, man, in North Judson, Indiana, in the middle of fucking nowhere, and nobody knew me out there, and it was no fun.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, they say it in God's country, but I understand why they say that. They say country is God's country because it's a place for you to reflect on what you're going to be and who you were, and what you want to change. And that's what that situation did for me. That's when I started going to Chicago. I was planning on just bailing on this area. I was kind of bullied around here and stuff for a minute. And I bailed in this area, and I went to Chicago, and I was like, I'm going to start a band in Chicago. I want professional people that want to do this. I don't want people to think I'm a joke, So I went to Chicago 3 years, man. I drove, I started out there, and I was living in North Judson, driving out there every weekend, started Blind Spot, then I ended up getting a job out here. The next thing you know, I'm dragging Blind Spot out this way, and there were times where a couple members in Blind Spot didn't have cars, and I was driving to Chicago, picking them up, getting equipment, driving back here, doing shows, driving back to Chicago, dropping them off, staying the night, and driving all the way back.
Dang.
I don't know a lot of people that would do that. But off the subject, Arson Radio, 2011, Arson Radio. Yeah, I met Jamie Dyer through a guy named John Wiggs, bass player. I jammed with him a few years ago. We did a cover thing. We were actually doing cover songs. I met John Wiggs was actually in a band, man, back in the 80s. They played at the White House and Niles, and there's a lot of history there and that. But John Wiggs is a great bass player, incredible guy. But he introduced me to Jamie Dyer. We were doing a cover band. Once Jamie found out I did originals, he's like, hey, he had the same kind of studio I got here. He goes, why don't you come to my house, man? We'll record some of your songs. I'm like, what do you mean, like on a tape recorder or something? Dude, he blew my mind. First night, go there. We recorded 3 songs with drums, bass, guitar, everything. He introduced me to the program drums, right? Arson Radio started out just like my Jammie Bosstel stuff. The So Help Me God, program drums, Sick of This, program drums. It's just amazing, man.
Yeah, and
it's gotten better. Too. It's gotten way better since 2011. I remember sitting back watching Jamie going, God, man, that looks fucking technical as shit. I don't know if I could do that, But I'd like to start recording. Something in my head was like, record, right? Yeah. Well, Jamie and I recorded a bunch of songs, and we had no band. It was just Jamie and me. Jamie did the bass. I would write the songs. I'd bring it to him. Like I said, I wasn't that great a guitar player. And I'd be like, hey, man, and that's the thing, what some of these musicians can learn from me, if you're listening, don't have so much pride that you have to do everything. There are people on this earth that are better at things than you are. And if they are, let them have it. Like for me, at the time, I'm a better guitar player now. Then, I sucked, But I could write a song. I could structure a song. And I gave Jamie, here you go, Jamie, do this for me. And he did the guitars, he did the bass, programmed the drums, and I sang. And I heard my songs that I wrote, my ideas that came up in my head, professionally produced and everything. I was like, holy shit, wow, I'm never looking back, Yeah,
it's about knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, man. Next thing, and admitting to yourself, there is nothing wrong with saying, hey, this guy's better at this than I am. Utilize it. Yeah. That's what God put him on this earth for, man.
Yeah.
And I do that with Jamie. Jamie's incredible musician. For those who don't know, he's not out there much because he's very picky. And he's very professional about what he wants, And I learned, everybody I've ever met in my life that I have played with, I have become who I am because every piece of that person is in me now. If I entered with any of these people with closed mind, you ain't gonna learn shit.
You're not gonna do anything either.
If your ego is bigger than they are, then you're never going to learn, man. And that's Jammie Bosstel Boot Camp for you, people.
Yeah, for anyone listening, there you go.
That's the truth, though.
No, it very much is. I mean...
But Jamie, Arson Radio, we had a band. We put it together. We got excited. We're like, all right, let's grab this guy, grab this guy. All right, you're not going to play guitar. We're going to have you just sing with me, right? I was like, okay, that's fine. I did whatever. We had a better guitar player. We were badass, But the economy, man, seriously, what had happened with Arson Radio, I'm not going to blame any of them. It was a very tough time. The economy was crushing us, man. There was pressure on my end. Like, what do I do? I lost my home. I lost my car. But yet I have this awesome band. What do? I got to get my shit together before I have an awesome band. My opinion, nobody should be in a band unless you got your shit together. And how do I know that? I learned it by giving up you know, having an awesome band, but not having my personal shit together. I don't know if I'm getting too deep here, but that's what happened.
Yeah, you're good.
That's why Arson Radio ended. You know, and Jammie and I had talked through the years. You know, I was like, you know, because he's very particular. Like I said, Jammie's a badass. And you need a badass drummer and a badass bass player to keep up with Jammie. That's all there is to it. They're hard to find. I'm not saying I know some, you know, but there are some that, you know, want paid or, you know, or I don't know. They just, or they're not into a leader like Jammie is. I will say, Jammie Dyer knows his shit. You know, if he comes in a room, he's prepared. He's got his shit. He's ready to throw down, and you better be if you play with him. That's all there is to it, you know. And he learned, you know, when I, you know, we didn't speak for like 9 years. You know, I shouldn't say that. Actually, he came to me when I was in Blind Spot. He actually wanted to join Blind Spot, but I was like, well, rehearsals in Chicago. You know?
Yeah, that's a little tough.
Yeah, and it was tough for me, but I did it because I had already had jumped into that lake. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, time to swim, dude.
Yep.
You know, I don't have a choice because I started something and it got to where I wanted, and it's like, this is what I wanted, and I had to keep it going. It was hard. It wasn't easy. I spent a lot of money, a lot of sacrifice. But Arson Radio was an awesome band. I still love all those guys. Basically what happened was that band was just crushed by the economy, dude.
Yeah, I believe it.
Bad time. It was just bad timing. And I started Blind Spot. Blind Spot kind of fizzled out because the drummer from Blind Spot ended up joining Enough's Enough. John, who I told you John discovered me at the Phoenix. We started Praise the Fallen.
Yep.
I started with Praise the Fallen with John Sturr. Blind Spot was falling apart, basically. You know, again, same problem. We were fighting between what bass player we wanted. We were getting ready to record a record at Stonecutter Records, and we had the deal of a lifetime, man. And the deal was, you come here, because I practiced every Friday from 5, no joke, 6 o'clock at night, right, till 9 in the next morning.
Wow.
I will not say what that was fueled by.
I think people can have a few
Not
guesses.
on my end. That's all I'm going to say, all right? But that was also the demise of that band, you know, because I will not play with people like that. You know, I wish the guy the best, you know, but I will not play with someone like that. And Dan, the drummer, had joined Enough's Enough. I don't know if you know who that is.
I do not know.
They're around 80s hair
Okay.
metal. They had 2 hits on the radio and stuff. They played Letterman and shit. But they're out there doing all the hair metal hits and stuff, whatever. But he's playing Europe and all this shit, you know.
Nice.
So help a brother out, man. What's up, Dan? If you hear me out there, you
Dad,
know.
come on, Dan.
Yeah, Dan, what's up? You know, Blind Spot was badass. We were working on a record, though, at Stonecutter. We had the deal of a lifetime. And long story short, you know, somebody didn't show up the very first recording session to start on the record, and I was like, this is unprofessional. I don't want no part of this. And I got tired of driving to Chicago, spending my money, spending a lot of time with somebody who didn't take it as seriously as me. You know, I ended Blind Spot. And no problem saying that. And then Praise the Fallen, John had passed away. The guy who put the memorial together for John Sturr, he was like, hey man, I want you to put a new Praise the Fallen together and play his memorial. But John had passed away. There were a couple people there from the industry and stuff that saw us, and they're like, these are really good songs, you know. I could see why John played with you. And he was like, you need to keep this going. Well, Blind Spot fell apart, so I put Praise the Fallen back together in 2015. When I had my shit together.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell. I mean, you know, the quality of music you guys been working on, and you know everything you do. Like, you know, you're talking about Jammie Dyer and his level of professionalism. You can tell that in the music. You can tell you guys know what you're doing and you're doing your best.
The funny thing is, Jammie tried playing with other people, you know, when I was out in North Judson and played with other singers. And he was like, man, he goes, for instance, you tell me, you know, hey, you're off the click. You use a click track when you record, and it keeps time, right? He'll tell me, hey, man, you're off the click on that, you know. And I don't get mad. I'll just be like, okay, I'll just do it again, you know. He was like, man, thank God for you, dude. He goes, the guys I worked with before, their egos are so big. Like, no. I know that's good. I know I'm good on that. No, you're not, man. That's what I'm talking about pride and ego and all that. And there are some people out there think that I'm like that, but you are so wrong.
Yeah, for everybody out there listening. But I mean, there's always room for improvement. No matter who you are, there's always room for improvement and to do better.
Yeah, man. Like I had said earlier, if somebody knows more than you, learn from it. Don't step back from it and let your ego get in the way of what you can learn for yourself.
Yeah, and that just doesn't apply to music too. That applies, you know, to life, everything you try.
In life, yeah. And I've learned a lot through mistakes in myself, you know. But I have become who I am because I have no problem taking criticism, you know. I have no problem putting it out there, say, hey man, I fucked up, or I did this wrong, or I shouldn't have done that, you know. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there that are wrong about me as well. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for actually hanging out here. Sorry we had some technical difficulties with our first interview, but now we did hear you. Thank you for having me show up here. And so you got Praise the Fallen. Going to take stage 5 p.m. Smokestack Brew. There we go for Rock the Pantry. So any surprises in store for this show, or are you just going to show up and melt some faces?
We're going to play a new song.
All right.
We are going to play a new song. Actually, the song was written in 1993. I was in a band called Rainbow Fall in 1993 with my buds out in Northwest Indiana. I'm actually originally from Chesterton, Indiana. And, man, I love those guys, man. We had a band called Rainbow Fall, and it was an awesome time. But there was a song that always stuck with me. It's one of those things where when you're young, like I said earlier, you know, all you youngins out there, you know, I'm not old, but I'm just saying, the younger generation out there who's angry, and that it will subside, you know, you'll realize it like, wow, you know, I was so mad, you know, but out of that anger, you know, I never knew my dad. My dad wasn't in my life. I grew up with violent stepdads, and I grew up in a rough home. I mean, my mom is great, you know, but the fathers I had were not so great. They were not at all. I went through a lot. People don't know. I don't talk about it. I don't put it out there. I guess I am now. But
yeah.
I wrote Hollow Man not even knowing who my father was. I had never even met him yet. And I wrote this song about, you know, the stories I had heard about my real father. And the song is called Hollow Man. And I always had liked that song. It was probably one of the best lyrically songs that I've written. It just stuck with me all these years out of all the songs that I've written. Well, Praise the Fallen did a show in Valparaiso, a place called Duffy's. And I ran into my boys that were in Rainbow Fall. And I was like, man, and we always talk about every time we run into each other, dude, we should go in a studio, man, and we should redo, because you're a better singer now, we should redo the Rainbow Fall stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm down, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, no offense to those guys or anything, I get a little impatient. It's like, when are we going to do this? Because I said, out of all the songs, I don't care, the other ones are good too, but out of all the songs that I want to do, I said, let's just go do Hollow Man. That song, you know, was just one of those songs that stuck with me throughout my whole life. Since I was, I wrote that song when I was 22. And that song has just stuck with me since then. You know, I came up with the word insidious and didn't even know what it meant. It just came to me when, you know, when you're jamming in a garage and they got the music and you just start mumbling words out,
Yeah.
And I just wrote the lyrics out, and Insidious came out, and then I looked up the definition. I was like, holy shit, it's like perfect for what I was saying. And I didn't even know what Insidious meant. It was kind of weird.
That's actually really cool.
Kind of weird how that happened,
Yeah.
you know? But Hollow Man, there was always an attachment to that song. And I was like, I don't know. I asked the guys about it. And during COVID, actually, when I was working on an acoustic set for the Facebook Live thing,
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm gonna fucking do Hollow Man, you know? And I came up with my own way to do it. I brought it to the guys in PTF, and I said, hey, got this song that I've always loved. What do you guys think about doing this? I told them it was from my old band, and they love it, man. You know?
So
we're gonna be debuting that song. We're debuting that song Saturday.
So this is the first time you're playing it as a band?
Yeah, and I can't wait to record it. I asked the band members from my past band, for anybody who wants to talk shit. I asked all the band members from Rainbow Fall if it was alright if Praise the Fallen did it, and they said, dude, hell yeah. You know? That's what people don't know is I'm friends with a lot of my past band members, except for certain people. You know.
Right on.
There's a few here, and anybody who's in the scene knows who they are.
Oh, I got you, man. So what can so one last thing before we go. What can people expect from Praise the Fallen in 2020?
Well, we were doing festivals this summer, so we were, stepping up from bars. You know, we're grateful for all the places we play, but I looked at it as like, cool. We're getting, because like in July, if I can tell any bands out there anything, I learned from my mistakes, man. You don't want to play bars in July. People are outside.
Yeah, makes sense.
Summer is made for festivals. Get on festivals. I don't know how it happened. Well, this is how it happened. We played Custard Fair in Illinois. Well, another festival heard about us at this festival, and then this festival wants this at this festival.
It's all connections.
Next thing you know, you're actually able to tell these people, hey, yeah, we'll play your festival, but we want this much. And they'll actually pay you. What? Yeah, So this summer was gonna be a breakout summer for us. And I feel from the bars to the festivals, from festivals to maybe national attention, that is definitely our goal. Our goal is to be as big as we can be and still fulfill the responsibilities. As you see, I got a house, I've got a wife, I've got dogs.
Yeah, you got to make sure your stuff's together too on your personal
I've
side.
always been that way. I've always been like, I've been offered deals. I've been, hey man, I'm gonna get in this van and eat sandwiches, and well man, I gotta pay my child support. I gotta pay my rent. Am I gonna make enough? No. Well, you're gonna have to wait that one out. Sorry. You know? For all you dreamers out there, that's a reality check. I'm just telling you. You're gonna learn a lot from it, Jamie.
I think we have during this interview. So hey, thank you for inviting me to your house.
Hey man, no problem.
We got Rock The Pantry. It's gonna be at Smokestack Brew. It's this Saturday, June 20th. The doors open at 2. The music starts at 2:30. We got Fifth and Sick kicking it off. I'm gonna be the host.
They're an awesome band.
Yeah. I've listened to them. They actually sent me tracks.
I have seen so many good bands through the years. I feel like I've been here a long time. I tried to leave, and I'm still,
still here.
I've been here, and I've seen so many good bands break up because they didn't think outside the box. They didn't get out of the area. A lot of the bands, I think that's a big part of it. They cave into, well, there's only a couple of places we can play here. What are we doing?
Yeah.
You make a record. You use that record as a vehicle to get you somewhere. That's what you do with it. You don't just play your local bars and if you got anybody in your band that's comfortable like that, kick him in the ass. Get out of town and see what your band's made of, Fifth and Sixth got some great music. I don't know who this Vaz band is.
But yeah, they're out of Buchanan. I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's all I really know about them. But we're going to find out on Saturday.
They sound pretty decent. The singer's got a good voice. They kind of remind me of Pearl Jam. They kind of got a Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
I made that video where I
Yep.
put all the bands in it and stuff. You know, Chrissy Wright's got a pretty good voice, and then Ignescent.
Yep, out of Chicago, yeah.
I guess they've been around since 2009.
Yes, yeah, actually.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, I never even heard of these guys.
You know the funny part, Hall and Larry, he actually, because he was looking for a female-fronted band. And so he's like, like this band fell through, this band fell through, this band fell through. I was like, hey, he contacted me. I was like, hey, check out Ignescent, man. And he did, and they're going to play, so.
Oh, you knew who they were?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I told Hall and Larry you should contact them.
Yeah, I had never heard of them. But you know what? Like I said, I had a taste of Chicago in 2013, 14. And at the time, rock wasn't happening out there, man. It was all... I thought going to Chicago was the answer, but I had learned, man, it was a lot of folk music, a lot of like Mumford and Sons sounding stuff, and then everybody was like, it seemed like, because I practiced in one of those studios where each room was a different band.
Yep.
It seems like the trippier the better, man. The weirder the better. That's what it came off. And a lot of the bands in Chicago is like, wow, that's interesting, but where's your hook? Where's your chorus? We had played a place called Martyrs in Chicago, and I remember Danny was like, man, they're not going to like us, man, because, we're a rock band. I was like, we'll see about that, Blind Spot killed it, dude. And he was like, man, you see those people that were singing our songs? I'm like, well, if you know how to write hooks, they do.
Yeah.
So there were bands out in Chicago that were, I'm not biting on anybody. Everybody's trying to do something different.
Yeah.
Sometimes simple is best, man. But... it seemed like at the time it was all like that studio where I rehearsed. There were a lot of hip hop artists, man. A lot of hip hop artists. There's some industrial artists, and there were stoner rock bands, and but there wasn't any rock bands like mine. Like commercially viable radio rock.
Yeah.
And I admit it. That's what I write. But there wasn't a lot of that in Chicago. So I thought, man, I'm going to hit it here because there isn't a lot of this here.
Yeah.
But, I should have stayed out there longer and maybe that possibly would have happened. But
then you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing now.
There is more rock here than there was out there.
I believe it. I mean, I saw a lot of cover bands in Chicago. Not like me going to shows, but just,
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of cover.
There's a lot of tribute bands.
Yep.
And there's some great ones. I've got some buddies that were actually in a national band called No One.
Yeah, you told me about them, yep.
They started a Guns N' Roses tribute band. It is fantastic, man. Those guys are great.
Yeah. So, hey, thank you for hanging out with me. We got Praise the Fallen on Safe Stage, 5 p.m. Smokestack Brew this Saturday, June 20th for Rock The Pantry.
Doors open at 2. Show starts at 2:30.
That's right.
It's all ages till 9.
Yes. And then
so anybody out there saying, I can't, I got my kids, no excuse.
Not an excuse.
Till 9, you can bring your kids. So, Shock Roxy's closing out the night for the girls that want to dance. And I know my wife likes to dance. We'll see if she wants to stay all night.
Yeah, it's gonna be an all-day event.
7 bands, man.
Yes, and there's a little bit of something for everybody there.
Like I said, I guess there was 120 plus people this last Sunday.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
So
I think
the show's on Saturday, so I'm excited to go.
I am too, especially. I mean, I'm the host. Have to be. Hey, thank you, Jammie Bosstel, for inviting me to your home for this killer interview.
No problem, dude.
Frontman of Praise the Fallen, Arson Radio, and Jamie the artist, Jammie Bosstel Rock Music.
I'm doing a lot.
Hey, and we love you for it.
Hey, man, do all you can before your time passes. That's right. That's my whole theory on that. I'm not trying to show off or anything. It's just different sides of me that I want to show people. That's all.
And I dig it all, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. No problem.